on this computer. Cool deal. All right, here we go. So we're firing up. Today is Friday, June 30th, FYR Fridays with Dave, and we have special guest, Gene Frederick. So, you know, especially for you guys, I mean, Gene in EXP and throughout the industry, Gene doesn't need a whole lot of introduction because of all the roles that he's played and the time that he's been doing it, success he's had. But, you know, for our group, especially because Gene's, you know, he's kind of the godfather of growth, coming in at 400 agents in the company and really, you know, teaching the company how to grow a real estate company. You know, from that point forward, you know, really most of the company is under Gene. he's the godfather of EXP, but Gene's also, you know, he's been a great friend of mine. He's been a mentor of mine since I was in my 20s, and we met. He was the first person to teach me how to grow a Keller Williams franchise. When I bought my first franchise and I flew down to Texas, and he was my instructor, and we've been friends now for over 20 years. Been blessed to know him and Susan, and they've become great friends, and continues to be a mentor for me. And he's the one that introduced me to EXP, called and said, Dave, I found it. This is the next thing. This is the company that's going to change the face of the way we know real estate and the way real estate gets done. You need to get on board. And he told me, and he told me again, and he told me again, and eventually I listened. And so don't give up. It took me like 2 years to figure it out, but we're here. But I really, you know, I'm excited for you guys to learn from Gene. Some of you have had a chance to meet him. Some of you will get a chance to meet him, get to all the events and that kind of stuff. But he's been in the recruiting game. You know, I got a chance to get up there, and at one point I hit the #2 recruiter in all of Keller Williams, and Gene was #1. I could never catch him. So he's been.
I've never heard any chance. I never heard any chance like we're #2. We're #2. No.
So
sorry about that, Dave.
Not yet. No, it still hurts. It still hurts.
Well, here's what I'd like to do too, guys. We got a very short time together, and I love it when there's a small group. Rory, you're new to the game, so welcome, my friend. And anybody that's new to the game, I've been recruiting real estate agents since 1989. Monique was not born. A lot of these people were not born on the call. I know you guys were not even born. So I started my first company in 1989. Before that, I was with Remax in the 80s. And so literally this has been my gig. I haven't sold a home in 23 years. Do not ask me to write a contract. Don't ask me to show a property. Don't ask me to, now I can teach you how to lead generate because I've done it for years, because I'm an expert in lead generation. But what I want you guys to think about is selling real estate has a finite time. In other words, if you're with a buyer, right, Denise, you're going to show a buyer, you've got a time frame, got to be in by the time school starts, find me a home, right? It's usually like that. Or they've got a time frame. With the seller, same thing. I got to sell my home by this. You know, my spouse is working in Chicago. I'm here in North Carolina. This isn't working. So what I found is those were very distinct skill sets. To recruit real estate agents takes more. It's not the same. So that's why when I get you guys and you go, well, Gene, I want to learn how to recruit. And I said, well, okay, get ready. I got to teach you another skill. And they go, what do you mean? I said, well, Dave only took 3.5 years to come, just so you know. I mean, 3.5 years, that's all. The first 20 people I talked to about EXP in 2015, all were some of my best friends, all worked with me at Keller Williams for 21 years, all knew who Susan and Gene were, what our integrity was, what our values were. Every single one of them told me no. Every single one. Why? They thought I was crazy, Rick. They thought that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. You are leaving Keller Williams after 21 years. You have 6 offices I owned. I owned a region. I was one of the 32 regional owners of the whole company. And they went, you gotta be crazy. Your office is bigger than that whole company. But guess what? I kept calling. I kept calling. I kept calling Dave. I kept in touch. I'm patient. And guess what happened? I'd say of the 20 that turned me down, probably 18 are with us. Okay, say years. Okay, so there's no finite thing in recruiting real estate agents. Write that down. You're gonna have more patience because you're so used to making a sale. You're so used to, Gene, I sell 60 homes a year. You don't understand, man. I'm a machine. I go, cool. Guess what? When you start to recruit real estate agents, wow. The ones you think are gonna come, don't come. Right? And the ones that you never even heard of join you in a week. And you go, what was that all about? Here, write it down. They have to be ready. They're going to come on their own time. They will come when Rory's ready. Rory talks. You know, in other words, right, Rory, you were ready. You know, it was a time thing. It wasn't like if we would have talked to Rory 3-4 years ago, he went, no, I'm not ready. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Correct.
Absolutely.
I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing, right? I didn't even know that, but I can guarantee you every single one of you went, well, I wasn't ready. So here's the problem. You guys go, well, I'm going to recruit just like I sell homes. We got to keep that list going forever. Guys, I make a list of the people I know. Dave was on it for 3.5 years till he joined. I looked at his name for 3.5 years. When is that sucker going to come? Right? They don't come when I want them to come. I'm just as high D as all you guys. I mean, I am so driven. The problem is that not the problem. I've understood how to recruit real estate agents. Here's the number one thing to recruit real estate agents. You have got to find out who they are all about. I want you to write these things down. They're very basic. You use them in real estate, but you're going to use them in recruiting too. They're my acronyms. TMAY. TMAY. TMAY is an acronym. Then underneath that, put SU. And then the last thing is FU. This is so simple. You're going to say, well, Gene, that's what I do in real estate. First of all, you call somebody and you say, tell me about yourself. And after you say that, I want you to intentionally listen. Write those words down. Intentionally listen, not just listen. Intentionally listen. Rory, tell me about yourself. And I shut up. That's the SU. This is the hardest part for all realtors, the SU. Because you can't wait to tell them about RevShare. You can't wait to tell them about stock. You can't wait to tell them about how you're referring back and forth like you've never done before with other agents, that you've got all this training. And whatever's important to you, you go, I can't wait to tell them. And in reality, you don't even know what they're about. I interview agents. I don't have any vision of them coming on the first time I meet them, ever. I just want to meet somebody. I literally come with the attitude, I'm going to meet Rory. I've never met him. Tell me about yourself. I want to know Rory. What makes him drive? You know, I ask questions like this. Hey, Rory, where would you like to live 3 years from now, 5 years from now, if money was no object? Would you still be married to the same person? No, I'm just kidding. I don't ask that. I'm just joking. But I'm saying I ask personal questions because I want to know how they tick. When I find out why they tick, and then they go, well, tell me about EXP. I still ask them more questions about them. I want to know so much why the purpose in life they exist. When I get that down, the EXP presentation is nothing. I literally present whatever they want. Okay. Tell me about yourself, listen intently. And that's really important. I used to say just listen, but I think there's a difference of listening and listening intently. You can ask my wife, we've been married 28 years. She probably thinks I'm just listening sometimes. You know, I don't know, this is for the guys in the room. My wife said, you really didn't listen to me. I just told you that. Well, you know, she was probably right. You know, I wasn't listening intently. I want to really I take notes. I'm taking notes today. I always have a notepad next to me. I literally ask them, is it okay if I take notes? I have no problem if people see me writing. I want to know who their kids are, where they live, what they think about their families, their dog, their cat. Tell me about yourself. Shut up. And then, of course, the FU is follow-up. Okay, Dave's been on my list for 3.5 years. It's just a follow-up game. Because if I would have not stayed in contact with Dave, let's play this out. If I would have stayed in contact for a year, he didn't join for 3.5 years, and somebody else met him at church or whatever, and he would have joined underneath them. And by the way, he should have, because I did not follow up. Right? Do you expect your neighbor to list their home with you if you don't contact them? Do you ever look down the street sometimes, Monique, and go, where'd that Coldwell Banker sign come from? That's the guy. Her and I played bridge together. Her and I played bunco together. That's my best friend. Why are they listening with Coldwell Banker? Well, when's the last time you contacted them? When's the last time you let them know that you're there for them, right? That's follow-up. And if that hasn't happened to you, God bless you. But I sold real estate for 11 years of my career, and it happened to me all the time because I screwed up. I know I screwed up. I did not stay in contact like I should have with some customers, right? Then I found out they bought 3 more homes without me. Oh, right? So those are the basics. And Dave's been here all week, and we kind of talked. I think the easiest way to deal with people now is Zoom, like we're doing today. I mean, I really think you could talk to people all over the nation. I mean, don't limit yourself to your area, right? If you know agents all over the world, contact them. They're on your list. And that's why Dave, Dave didn't live near me, but Dave and I used to talk all the time. Man, he was my bud. Well, guess what? I'm not letting that go. I mean, I'm not, just because he's not with me does not mean I'm not going to intently talk to him. So now you got this big view. So here's what I want you to do. In your local market, write down the 10 people you would really love to be in business with. Now, when I say that, who are the influencers? Who are the people that if you got them, the needle would move? It's not always somebody with production. It's not always the top producer, is it? It might be Susie Q, who knows everybody, and she's the manager of a small independent down the street. And if you got Susie, people would come. I would make my list of the top 10, maybe top 25. Boom. Okay, I'm on a mission. I look at it as a game. See, you guys look at real estate as I got to sell a home to live, right? Buyer, seller, buyer, seller, buyer, seller. You guys are looking at instant cash. I'm looking at the long-term game. I don't care when they come. All I know is they're coming. You know why? Because I'm really good at follow-up. The minute I interview somebody, I can give you a tip. The minute I interview somebody, either by Zoom or in person or on the phone, I text them instantly. God, Rory, that was nice meeting you today. What a pleasure. Tell your wife, Sandra, blah, blah, blah. And I always do something personal. It's just what I do. Oh, I'm sure you do it when you go on a listing. Do you not? When you walk out the door, by the time I get to the car, I'm texting them. Guys, I can't wait, something's close. I can't wait to help you sell your home like you want to on time. Blah, blah, blah. Set up the next appointment, right? Do you guys not do that on listings? I know I did. By the way, on listings, if Rory was coming after me, who else are you interviewing? Well, I'm interviewing Rory with Keller Williams. I said, God, I know Rory. He's awesome. He's phenomenal. I'll tell you what, this happens to Rory. It happens to me. Let me call Rory and tell him, might as well not even come. Do you guys not do that? I did it all the time. Rory and I are great buds. We're golfing buddies. I'll tell you what, I'll give Rory a call this afternoon and tell him, yeah, I win this one, you get the next one. You always want to be the first person on a listing. Write that one down if you want something on production. You do not want to follow me. If you followed me, you didn't get to go. Right? I don't want to follow Rory. I don't want to follow Kyle. A good listing agent, they ain't gonna get past the first listing appointment. Okay? Well, the same thing on interviewing agents. If they interview with me, I'm going to follow up better than anybody. So don't worry, you won't have competition. Yeah, Rory.
Yeah, Gene, I was wondering, do you have, I would imagine that you do, like a CRM system set up for agents like we would for our prospects? I mean, we use, Brivity or whatever, but what I want to do is start implementing a whole nother pipeline or list of agents for this exact reason, for follow-up and just to stay on top of, like, if we're talking to 30 people, setting reminders and that kind of thing. Do you have anything that you use?
Yes, we do. Do you have it, Dave? I know that Nicole, my daughter Nicole, has one for our whole team, and we use it.
Okay.
You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat right now, Rory.
Okay, cool.
There's a link for it. We use CRM Grow, and it's built by someone from EXP, and it's designed specifically for agent attraction.
Yeah.
And so it's got, actually has EXP videos baked into it already that you can send out. But it's got things, I think they've integrated like a bomb type stuff. You can create videos directly in emails and send it out and do all that text message marketing and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty robust. It's really good, and it's easy to use. And it's specifically designed for agent attraction.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you ask a good question, Rory, because what will happen if you're really good at this and you go, I'm going to call 5 people a day, 5 days a week. There's 25 new leads, right? So you got to make sure you keep them in the funnel. And, you might have an assistant do it. You might have somebody that's better detailed. I'm really, it's funny. I say I'm good at follow-up. I'm really good at follow-up in the beginning. I really am. And for the second appointment, because what I've realized, you can talk to somebody one time, but if you don't get the second appointment, nothing really works. Let me tell you why. There's something called family involved. Spouse, relatives, top agents at other companies that they're family with. In other words, I've done interviews and I went, man, that was awesome. I think they're in. Well, Dave's beautiful wife, Kristen, just told me this week, why didn't he come 3.5 years ago? It was Kristen. She didn't want to come. She just told me this. I said, why didn't I set up the second interview with who? Kristen. Dummy Gene. In other words, I failed with all of it. I learned by failure, right? So in other words, you always have to include. So if I know, it doesn't matter if they're in real estate, Kristen's not in real estate at the time, I should have set up a second interview because Kristen didn't want to come.
Gene,
Right?
Gene, hi, sorry.
Hey, buddy.
Really quick question. I have a friend in Boston. His name's John Mullen. He's like a top agent up there. He's doing big things. And he was one of the first people I reached out to. As soon as I called him, he said, don't even hit me with your EXP pitch. I've heard it 1,000 times. I'm the man up here where I am. How would you approach somebody like that? Just keep in touch every now and then?
Yeah. Hey, we just went over 90,000 agents, just staying in touch. Hey, I just noticed an NAR article, boom, boom, boom. The prices have gone down by 5% nationally. Bum, bum, bum. I talk real estate. And then if they're from Boston, send them a Red Sox. Oh, the Yankees guy just threw a no-hitter. The 24th no-hitter, not no-hitter, perfect game difference. Do you guys know this? 2 days ago. Guy threw the 24th the perfect game in history. I thought that was kind of awesome. I mean, wait, there's only 24 times out of 27,000 games. I mean, my God. I mean, you could text that to him if you knew he was a baseball fan. Right? I mean, that's why when I say, tell me about yourself, I really get to know them. I want to know, are they, see, the thing is it's a relationship game and a follow-up game. It doesn't matter if everybody's talked to him. Monique, he has not seen you yet. He has not seen Monique follow up. That's where you win. Seriously, you got to feel like that, right? I've talked to people and they go, oh, I've heard the EXP thing 10 times. I said, have you heard it from me? They go, no. And I said, hey, how about 11th? Let's do an 11th thing. They go, what do you mean? I said, maybe I'll throw you something you haven't heard before. When Dave and I both were at Keller Williams, I was the top recruiter for Keller Williams 6 out of my last 9 years. Literally #1, 6 out of my last 9 years, mainly because I just went between being a team leader and regional director, then back to being a team leader. The reason I say that to you guys is Dave and I used to talk about how to recruit people all the time. And really it's nothing about but having a system. I was very good at being consistent. I mean, guys, that's what I did at EXP. Everybody goes, how'd you know EXP was going to work? I said, well, I hate to be blunt, but I knew what I could do. Personally, seriously, I knew what I could do. I didn't know EXP was going to go boom, but I knew that I could recruit at least 1,500 agents in 5 years total. Guess what happened? The 1,500 agents came in 25 months. Holy moly. That's when I knew I had something special. I knew I had something that nobody else had. I have the new model. I have Amazon. Everybody else has JCPenney's. That's what I tell people now. I don't know about you, but there's 4 boxes out my front door right now. 60% of the sales in America are done by Amazon. Did you guys know that in retail? 60% of what we buy is freaking from Amazon. I do Amazon in retail now because to me, we're Amazon. We're the first one to go with a platform in the cloud. You'd think they didn't have the cloud forever. They didn't think they had the internet forever. My gosh, every real estate company should be in the cloud. You just told me, Dave, that Long & Foster had 360 offices. Is that right?
Yeah, 350, 360, yeah. 760.
360 offices? Oh my God, for 10,000 agents? I went, wow, that was it. That was like 360 JCPenney's. So our platform, you guys have got to tell people that our platform is the new platform. I don't want to be in horses and buggies. The cars are out now. Planes are out now. Come on, guys. I tell people everybody's going to be in the cloud 10 years from now, as far as a real estate brokerage. You'd think it's kind of crazy. Why wouldn't they be? Get rid of all those expenses. Okay. Now, the 2 things we have that most real estate companies won't do, and Wes Foster wouldn't do this, he might go in the cloud, but he's still going to keep all the money. Right? Gary Keller's still going to keep the 6% royalty fee. Got news for you. He could go in the cloud tomorrow, right, Dave? Mark my words. He could go in the cloud tomorrow. Gary Keller's still going to keep his 6%. Dave Liniger from Remax still going to keep his 5%. I guarantee you they're too much into old school. We're the brokerage. You're not. Where we are is, thank heaven Glenn Sanford believes it, and I believe it. You guys are the reason we're growing. It's agent run, not owner run. And we're sharing half the company dollar, 50% back to the agents and revenue share. Are you kidding me? Hey, here's a new script I use right now. Write this one down. We revenue shared $202 million last year in 2022. It's a fact. Don't you think in the next 4 years with our growth that 202 million is going to be approximately $1 billion, maybe more? I think we'll revenue share over 250 million this year. So I tell people the next 3.5 to 4 years, we are going to pay out $1 billion in rev share. Holy mackerel, in 4 years. That used to go, by the way, if you're at Long & Foster, or if you're at Howard Hanna, or if you're at Coldwell Banker, that exists for your brokerage. It just goes to the owners. With us, it goes to the agents. Do you want to get part of that? I'd love to show you how. That's my elevator speech if I met somebody in a Starbucks and there's a Coldwell Banker person in front of me. I go, this is unbelievable. This is rock. Oh my God, we're rocking. We've created a whole new brokerage model where we get the owner's money. Ooh.
And Gene, we just announced today for all you guys out there, right? You guys know unlocking the different levels, right? Getting the extra money, right? You get paid on every level, anybody on every level. But as you unlock, right, you get 5 in your first level that you've personally sponsored. You get more as for anybody on your level 2, et cetera. It's 5, it was 10, it's 15, it's 20, 25 FLQAs, right? Those frontline qualifying agents that unlock level 6. And then you had to go from 25 to 40, which is really hard to get and pretty hard to maintain. Excuse me, to unlock level 7, which is a big payout. It's up to $4,000 per agent in that level 7, which is intentionally has been hard to reach. Well, the company just announced today that they want to continue to make sure we're paying out a lot of money in revenue share. They reduced the qualifier number to open up level 7 from 40 all the way down to 30. So now it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's it. It's way more attainable. So guys, this is the time to lean in and really accelerate. This is incredible. So they just dropped this. They announced it today. It's out there. There's a press release on it, but this is really exciting because it was one of those things it's still elite. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's easy, but it's still elite to unlock your 7th level, but it brings it, a lot closer, 10 fewer that you need to get to unlock that 7th level and to get that really big payout. And Gene, what percentage of your payout is coming from 7th level?
Well, my 6th and 7th level, I get over 80%, probably 82% of my payouts on 6 and 7. So that's, you want to go big, you can. Guys, it's not, I don't want to make it seem that recruiting agents is hard. It just takes time. It takes effort. I just found out I'm just very, very consistent. When I started this, I did 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I did 3 interviews a day, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 days a week. And that was my schedule. Now everybody goes, well, how'd you do it? And I said, well, I called people and said, hey, do you want to meet at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 3 o'clock tomorrow? And I would just consistently set up one-on-one interviews. I did it the old-fashioned. What's good about technology now, I could do that a lot better using Zoom. I probably would right now. 8 years ago, we weren't using Zoom like we are now, right? But you guys could set up things like, Rory, people all over the United States, right? I would just go, look, I'm going to set up, and you can do them. You can just, because they tell me about yourself, how's it going in real estate, does not have to take an hour and a half, right? It could be a half an hour. Do that first interview in a half an hour. If it interests you, I'd like for you to see the video and watch the video with them. That's what I recommend. Okay. And then the thing after getting to know them, watching the video, set up a 3-way call with Dave and let him do a lot of the question and answer and closing for you. That's the technique I use. It's not hard. Don't try to do all the closing yourself. That's where people go wrong. You guys try to go, oh, I'm going to be the closer. I would much rather bring a third party in to let Dave close them for you. Does that help? Don't try to do it. By the way, the system's already there for you to use. You don't have to invent anything. I spent 3 months before I came to EXP. Here's what I want you guys to do. I spent 3 months. I still do it the same way, describing what we're doing and called the napkin presentation. You can put in Gene Frederick, my name's spelled right there. You can put in Gene Frederick in YouTube and look up the new napkin presentation. It's called the new napkin. I've got a flowery shirt on. I'm really looking good in the video, just so you know. New haircut, everything was looking good. But I redid it in January when I was in Hawaii because I want you guys, this was for you. How do you present our model compared to all the other models? And I give you the history of real estate there. I give you a whole bunch of other stuff. It's about 36 minutes long, but it's an instructional video for you guys. All right. And if you really want to get into this game, you should be looking at that. Play it over and over. Listen to the scripts I use when I describe it. By the way, I practiced this just like I did at KW. I practiced what I was going to say to people. This wasn't ad-libbed. There's a reason Dave and I were good recruiters is we literally found out what works, and that's why EXP is growing. I do the 6x6 and the 10x10. You see, I'm sure Dave's talked about them, but the 6x6 and the 10x10, you'll see what I mean. Just put in Gene Frederick in YouTube.
I put the link in the chat.
There you go. You got it. I want to teach you guys, because here's the thing. I have to teach you a new skill. I really do. You guys are good salespeople. Everybody goes, what am I going to say? What do I say? I said, well, what do you say when you call people for a listing or a buyer? You'll just start talking. I don't know what you guys say. You're good. Be yourself. Don't be anybody but yourself. Be authentic. Authentic is a great word to use in life because that's why you're good in real estate, right? You're authentic.
Jean, I'll tell you, Denise was so authentic when I bumped into her at the board. We were there for a pinning, and I bumped into her having coffee or something, and she was like, I had never heard of EXP. So when they asked who we were there, who we represented, she said EXP. I asked her, she said she loved EXP and that they were very future forward. So I went and I heard future forward. I'm like, I want to hear about that. So it just took those two words, and she was just so genuine with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
That's what it's all about, guys. And we're coming to the end of our time here. So guys, I hope you took a lot of notes, and I hope that what you see, you have literally the most prolific recruiter in the industry, and he's laying out what he does. And it doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's not complicated, right? It's not complicated. So don't overcomplicate it in your mind. Don't build up a lot of fear around it. And if you approach every conversation with true curiosity about the person you're talking to, right? If you really want to know who they are, what makes them tick, and what they need, with a genuine interest in helping them, the coolest thing is we have all the tools, all the people, all the support to help any type of agent, any type of person get where they want to go. And their individual path is their individual path. So there's no one size fits all, right? You guys have heard, we've talked about that if a doctor gives a prescription without doing the analysis first, it's malpractice, right? So don't start telling them what they need. You don't know yet. So you gotta be in curiosity. You gotta ask questions, be honestly curious. Like Jean was saying, right? Tell me about yourself, then shut up, listen intently, and then and then follow up with them, right? That's the path. He's given you the path. And so everybody worries about what they need to say. What's really cool is when you flip that script and you say, tell me about yourself, that's all you have to say. Tell me about yourself. And then when they say things, you go, oh, that's really cool. Tell me more about that. Oh, wow, that's really neat. Be interested. That's it. There is no script, right? When it gets to the end and you've taken good notes when they've talked to you and they've told you how to recruit them. They said, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm worried about. You have all that right down in your notes, and then you go, great, can I show you how I might be able to help you with those things? Pick a few.
Let me tell a story real quick to make that. He's making such a great point. He is making the point of all points. So Vanessa Nunez, Elizabeth Riley calls me one day. Now this is what's going to happen. I remind me of Denise. Elizabeth goes, I met this gal last night at an awards presentation. And Vanessa Nunez was sitting next to me. She doesn't know her forever. She just knows her as an agent. They're both getting awards at the board. And Vanessa, she goes, can you meet tomorrow morning? She's known her for one day. And Vanessa comes. Vanessa's one of those power lifters. What do you guys, when you push tires? Any of you guys pushing tires, doing all that junk? What does that work out? I forget what it's called. It's goofy. But you women and men too, pushing tires, doing things, whatever. So
CrossFit.
She said, CrossFit. She goes, I do CrossFit. I can meet you at 6:30 at Starbucks after CrossFit. After CrossFit, that means you went there at like 5:30. So I'm meeting her at 6:30 and Elizabeth's there. We literally don't know Vanessa. I said, Vanessa, tell me about yourself. She's in her sweats. She's in her workout clothes. Blah, 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 blah. I said, cool. So where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? I said, you're the number one producer at that small company. She goes, Gene, I've always done 15 million a year, 15 million a year, 15 million a year. I can never hit 20. I said, so that's your biggest concern? She goes, yeah. I said, what if I just pour into you for the next 6 months and get you to 20 million? Would you consider joining us today? She goes, yes. And I said, well, here's a sign right here. She joined. Now she leaves. It's like a 30-minute conversation. And Elizabeth Riley, who's one of the best recruiters I know, you guys all know Elizabeth with our company. She's phenomenal. Elizabeth goes, you didn't even talk to her about the stock. You didn't even talk to her about the rev share. And I said, well, did I give her what she wanted? She goes, yeah. And I said, is she joining? She goes, yes. Boom, shakalaka. Now that was like 7 years ago. Vanessa is still with us. I see her at every event. And I just remember that 30-minute conversation where I asked her about herself and what she wanted. Not what I was going to tell her, but what does she want? And then about 6 months into her being with us, she goes, Gene, hey, tell me about this recruiting thing. How do I do that? Right? She was well on her way of doing 20 million a year. Most people in a down market, I hate to go over, Dave, but I think most people in a down market right now, Rick, you're going to have to talk to them about production. They're most concerned right now in this market is what? Production. I'm just telling you, sharpen the saw, know about KV Core, know about the things that we have that could help them with production. Because I guarantee you, I probably have that. I always in this market, by the way, it's an exciting time because most agents will talk to you now. Just so you know, they're going to talk to you. They're going to talk to you. We've gotten more good agents in the last 6 months than we ever have because they're going to talk to you in a down. When there's a downturn, I don't mind saying downturn. It's my fourth one. I feel it when there's a downturn. I know there's a downturn, right? People talk different. It's a different market. Does that help you guys? I wanted to give you a little story because most people remember stories. Dave, everything Dave says, listen to him. He's one of the, he and I used to recruit together at Keller Williams. Now all we're doing is doing the same thing at EXP. It's really no different. I don't do it any different. I really don't. I just have more tools. It's almost like, it's almost like it's almost like I'm at the Yankees and I have an unlimited amount of money to spend because now I can go get the best player. Does that make sense? I'm not in Milwaukee anymore.
And the rewards are bigger too, by the way, because revenue share is about 900 times larger than profit share.
I'll end with this, that you should go attend all the events you can. Build 23 is just in a couple weeks in San Antonio. I will be there. Please come. These events are, as I know, I've seen Kyle there all the time. You come to these events and you're going to get so much. You're going to learn so much. Come to the events. I'll sit down with you. If you have any recruits you want me to meet with at the events, just set up a breakfast, set up a lunch. I will meet with them. I can meet with them at any time that I'm not up on stage. And, just go for it. This is the time of our life right now. The next 3 years, there'll be more small brokers coming to us because of Boost that we just announced this week. There'll be small brokers and big teams coming to us, and they're coming here.
Yeah. This is it.
Sorry about that. I hate to go over, but
it's gold. It's gold, man.
You wind me up. It's not good.
We'll take every minute we can get with you, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate you pouring into us, everything that you continue to teach us and everything else. And guys, Gene we're in Gene's group. If you're in my group, you're in Gene's group. So that's he's got an extra additional vested interest in helping us succeed. He's here to help. He's the closer. We got to bring in the big guns. You got somebody really good or just someone you're trying to unlock the secret to. I'm always here for you all the time. So you guys hit me up. You got my calendar link. You got everything else. But we can pull in Gene as needed as well. He's got some great stuff. He's got General Gene's calls on Mondays. So they do that. So Kristen sends that stuff out. So get plugged in, stay plugged in, keep learning, keep doing, and keep having fun, guys. Appreciate you. Love y'all. Have an amazing, amazing weekend and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Enjoy the 4th, guys.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank
See
you.
See you guys. See you, Rory.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.